Well, first, really quickly, a bit more Xbox related news. Our new CEO at Xbox is looking for a lot of ways to improve the Xbox experience and maybe lower Game Pass prices. And it has been proposed that at least they're looking into the possibility of including Netflix in a bundle with Game Pass.
Good Lord.
Which is actually not a horrific idea.
No, not a bad idea.
Additionally, on top of this, they're looking at adding another Game Pass tier that only allows you access to the first-party games from Xbox that will be cheaper because they're looking at a way to allow more people to have access to Game Pass that might not be willing to spend the absurd prices that are currently available.
First hit is free, kid.
All right, well, let's hit some of the big, horrifically devastating news, and I'm going to start out with one of the things that not everybody is talking about. There was a massive lawsuit that came through this week.
Oh.
Things have gone really interesting directions, everybody. That's right, the social media company Meta and video streaming services YouTube has been found liable for harming young people with their features that have been found to be addictive and causing mental distress. Meta had to pay $4.2 million in combined compensatory and punitive damages. YouTube must pay $1.8 million. This bellwether case, which was brought by a now 20-year-old woman, had accused social media companies of creating products as addictive as cigarettes or digital casinos, citing features like infinite scroll, algorithm recommendations. She sued Meta, which owns Instagram and Facebook, and Google's YouTube, which claiming they led to anxiety and depression. Here's a few things. Do they make things in such a way to encourage you to constantly engage in an addictive way?
Yes.
Yeah, they kind of do. Is social media actually beneficial to our mental states? Probably not. I mean, we're looking at how depressed and on psychoactive stimulants to try and deal with depression and anxiety, and how awful newer generations' mental health is. And it's like, social media ain't helping. And it looks superficially, you might go, oh, well, people could do what they want to. How come she's trying to blame it? But it's like, we really don't know the long-term effects of all of this heavy social media engagement. I mean, doom scrolling is a thing. The fact that you keep going and you can't put it down because you have to see the new thing. Because the addiction to the little dopamine hit, the little endorphins you get, and the addiction to novelty, seeing something new constantly over and over again. Is it wrong to suggest that they've built these things in such a way to encourage engagement in an addictive way? Not really. Is this causing detrimental effects to people's mental health? Yeah.
Seems to. Sure seems like it.
But what this does is it open up to the fact that they're now liable. And that's going to cause a huge amount of problems.
Yeah.
It ain't good.
Does this mean that everybody and their dog is now going to be suing social media because they didn't succeed in life?
Well, that's my plan. I don't know if I haven't told you guys this yet, but this is what I'm looking into.
Capcrew says this is fascinating. It really is. The case is crazy. I feel like it's not wrong, but also disengages personal responsibility. See, that's absolutely true as well. See, it's funny. There was always the argument when it came to things like cigarettes, which this law actually went through the same strategy in accusing the cigarette companies, that the product nicotine is addictive, but there is a degree of personal responsibility and decision making when it came to engaging with the product. But it's like, how much does the addiction remove your decision making and your ability to control yourself when it comes to what you're doing? And I don't know if there's the cleanest answer. Obviously, there's culpability to some degree with these companies, especially if you can prove that they deliberately create these social media products, if you will, to be addictive and heavily engaging. What does this cause? Now, Jason suggested, we're going to see a lot more lawsuits. I don't think that's even really the biggest problem here. I think this opens up the floodgate of accusations of social media across the board globally, which could force changes in how they do things, force governments to go after them in their own way for compensatory damages or things across the board. What does YouTube look like? Because the original issue with things like YouTube is YouTube wants to act like it's a electrical company or your phone company. Yeah. They're not really responsible with what people do with it, their utility. They're just providing the telephone line. They're not responsible for what's on there. But here's the problem. YouTube doesn't actually act just like a phone line. They curate the content that comes through. They choose who gets to make phone calls and who doesn't, so to speak, if we're using this analogy. They also build their platform to be more addictive, like making your phone more addictive to call more people. This is an active decision-making thing on their end. And I don't know how long they could have gotten away with acting like, no, we're just a phone company. It's like, well, I don't think that game could be played anymore. And what role does this have in society? I don't have clean answers, but this causes a huge break in where this goes. Like, I don't know. I don't know. YouTube go away? Probably not.
No.
YouTube dramatically change how you search things on the algorithm. If they're going to be liable, then they're going to be responsible for the content, or at least how they build their platform. Do they get to start purging channels or whatever? Like, what
we're
does this
reverting
look like?
back to 2011 YouTube. It's going to be Fred and Annoying Orange.
I'm going to throw it back to you guys as to what you think is going on here.
Well,
I'm thinking that people are going there is a tendency in our country when somebody is successful at something that other people follow suit. So that's one of the reasons why I said, people are going to be blaming YouTube and they're going to be riding on this bandwagon. They're going to be trying to see if they can get some recompense back from YouTube for, whatever failures or therapy or whatever that they are going to pin this to. It could be that YouTube decides, you know what, from now on, we're not going to curate. This is all on you. And so they can then act a little bit more like the utility company that they want to be. I don't know. I want to say that it's
but they've been
making
found
too much
liable,
money.
So that almost makes me sound like they're going to curate more.
Yeah.
That could be.
But it'll be in a different direction.
In a bad direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where there's too much money right now involved in YouTube for it to just disappear. So I think they're going to do what they can to salvage the situation, whether that looks like you said, more curation, more, you can't post that here because we'll get in trouble. I think one of the problems that they're running into is that if I go into YouTube, they're recommending things to me. They're trying to keep me on there, trying to keep me engaged, and that's really kind of what got them in trouble in the first place. So maybe there won't be recommendations coming after videos now.
They might
maybe
have to
it'll
change
just be
how
up to you.
Well, imagine Instagram. They might have to change how Instagram functions so that it's not, so they can prove that they're not actively doing stuff to engage people in addiction. And here's the problem. Human beings have a natural proclivity to associate with common, to gather around other people. It's a protective instinct within us to find other people to associate with. And the problem with social media is it creates this, it preys on that human need to find other people to gather around, associate with, but it doesn't actually fulfill it in any satisfying way because these human interactions aren't real human connections.
Right.
They're sort of superficial. So it's playing on your need to engage with other human beings, but it's not actually fulfilling those in any satisfying way. I mean, does social media inherently prey upon human instinct and desires and whatnot? We have another comment. I can see the companies pulling a quick one to get the licensure and sidestep the privacy laws so that they can age gate things. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I was going to say, that's what I think. They're probably going to go hard on age gating. Like, you know, you have to prove identity. Like, you know what I mean? That kind of a thing.
Well,
So that way it like furthers, well, it's on you. We didn't, it's on you.
Well, people always balk at, states have already done this, trying to ban people under 18 from social media. But then it's like, to be fair, developing brains affected by sort of a endorphin hit addiction platform. I mean, is this degrading freedoms, or is this the right decision to protect people from what could be not as clearly harmful as something like a drug, but mentally harmful in ways that we really don't fully understand because we've only been engaged with social media for 20 years?
Yeah. Very new. Well, and God, even the era of social media in our pockets is like, what?
Very new.
15, 13 years old, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, because, yeah, MySpace in the early Facebook days, but you had to go log on a computer to see that.
Right.
Silver, how do you feel about all of this?
I fully expect there.
I just like your, he's asking me a question.
Yeah. No, it's just further thinking about it because pretty much since, I don't know, like middle school is when, you know, social media has been fully accessible from your pocket. Possibly even before, probably like 5th grade for me. And not all of us had phones, and I still had a flip phone.
Rock on.
Which was great. Had to buy minutes and everything.
Rock on.
So, yeah, and then later going into middle school, suddenly it's becoming more prevalent, like, oh, people have phones, here we can access, you know, social media now, and it's when people started to go nuts on it.
Well, consider this. I'm going to give you an example, and then I'm going to ask you another question. There was a anthropology strange thing that happened in Southeast Asia, like the Tonga, Solomon Island, Samoa, that sort of thing, where classically women who were more voluptuous, bigger ladies were considered more attractive. And suddenly, anthropologists got really confused and upset because suddenly, across the board, women were developing eating disorders. Like massive issues with eating disorders, and they couldn't understand it. And what did they trace it to? The advent of television. That they started to compare themselves to other people. Social media creates, I mean, obviously in men, but it's been a huge issue in women, in self-esteem issues, anxiety, depression. None of these encourage women to feel okay in themselves, creating eating disorders. One, self-perception, and social media exaggerates all of these problems, especially when you are a young girl going through this. Does it really help you?
Right.
Was social media even remotely a net benefit? Did you make friends? I mean, how do you see it in those contexts?
Well, yeah, in those contexts, like, at that point, it's like everyone that I was friends with, I already knew in real life. Same with a bunch of other people. So it's like, you didn't gain friends from social media. You just had it because it was the new thing. And yeah, all it did was make you feel horrible. I mean, heck,
were you intimidated by my sexy pictures?
Oh yeah, go on there, go on to Facebook. It's like, oh, there's Rhett posing again.
I'm so
I'm a
jacked, you
7th grader
guys.
and I'm terrified.
That's right. I've been your friend forever. Well, since you were in middle school, but I've known you forever.
So yeah, it went from, because it kind of happened in the middle of middle school, and you could see this dramatic shift from people were just you could see they were happier. Then suddenly there's a dive, and then the suicide rates go up. Like in my own school, that happened.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I mean, should we? It's funny. These are sort of mundane things, but it's like, have we really sat down and asked the question, is it actually good for our brains? The constant connection, the constant addiction to your phone. I mean, how many times do you walk down the street, see somebody looking at your phone or looking through the phone? What's the classic joke from Louis C.K., where he's like, you're watching people at like the ball dropping on New Year's Eve, and everybody's watching it through their phones. And he's like, you know what has really good resolution? Real life. Real life is clear. It looks really good. And you're taking videos and footage of things you're never going to look at again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Why not live in the moment?
I have
as
a fun
to obsess
anecdote.
over it? What's that, Jason?
So my wife and I went out on a date. I forget what the restaurant was, but we had to wait before they could seat us at our table. So we were chatting to each other. We were talking to each other, and the waitress sees us, and as she's taking us over to our table, she says to us, "It's so nice that you two were talking to each other." We didn't notice, but then we looked back at the lobby where everybody was waiting to get to their tables. Every single person was there with someone else. They were all looking at their phones. Every single one of them. They had someone there.
This is a thing.
They could talk to them.
This is a real thing, because people, and it's like, people feel lonelier than they've ever been, and they still lack the capacity to connect with people individually.
It's gotten worse.
Well, and we've had serious questions last week about what really media is going to look like, because people are addicted to the little short videos. I have a secret hope that having long-form discussions, thoughtful discussions, if not stupid and poorly educated on, thoughtful discussions about things, that encourages people to engage with us and engage with topics at hand, and perhaps engage in more long-form content. Not necessarily because I want the podcast to be successful, though I do. It's more of, this is the type of content I want to see. I want to see a younger person engaging. I mean, this makes me sound so freaking old saying younger person. I want to see a silver engaging with long form content and thinking about things in thoughtful ways, and maybe coming to the conclusion that we're wrong or they're wrong or whatever, but at least engaging the topics in a good way, and thinking about the world around them and being critical of the world around them, as opposed to simply consuming and taking things in microcosms of, I mean, you can't really ask questions about the world around you when everything you see has to be in like 30-second sound bites on a TikTok video, where you're so bored that even listening to it is not enough. You have to see half of the screen where they're on a cell phone game doing the surf around the city or whatever.
Subway surfers.
That's how bad it is. That's how bad it is. And it's just, social media is not helping. Final thoughts. We really should move on, because we're gonna have another big discussion after this.
I had a teacher once who was like, "Guys, this is an hour 15-minute class. I know a lot of you are going to turn out and go to your phones. Do I need to play like one of those mobile games while I do the lecture?"
Oh my god! Just Subway surfers.
Yeah, he was purely joking, but he was just calling them out on it. I'm like, ha!
Somebody understands their audience. All right.
Social media bad.
It's time we've had this discussion, everybody.
Brett's favorite topic.
Snape is black.
Oh my god.
We have had our trailer
So
for
stupid.
Harry Potter. Now, I'm going to preempt this conversation with a full disclosure. I don't like Harry Potter.
Oh,
What?
Now, it might be unfair that I don't like Harry Potter, but I don't like Harry Potter. Now, I'm going to answer this by going, Harry Potter came out when I was in like high school, and it was children's nonsense to me.
yeah. You were a little old when it came out.
I was edgelordy by the time Harry Potter came out. I was like, whatever, this is children bullcrap. I'm so cool into Warhammer. I don't know what I was doing. Whatever was cooler than I was reading Dune and not Harry Potter. Dune, where people murder each other all the time. But we had Harry Potter. Now, that's not to say I've seen every movie at least once.
All right.
The music's fun and enchanting. They've got a little bit of fun feel to them. I'm not engaged with the Harry Potter world. I just aren't. As much as I find the world sort of interesting, I actually have zero attachment to any of the characters. Not Harry, not Ron. I mean, kind of Snape.
Snape is great.
Little bit of Voldemort. I just like the weird, comically evil, like stupidly evil, where you start asking questions of, he cast a complex death spell to kill Harry in his crib. How come he just didn't throw the baby out the window?
Just slam him against the ground.
Babies are not hard to kill, you guys. They're very easy to kill.
Just
I don't know.
American History X him against his crib. What's he gonna do?
I don't know why he has to cast this complex death spell and then have his mom save him, causing the scar and blah blah blah. And it's like, you could kill a baby really easy there, Voldemort.
I'm gonna make a giant poster just of Rhett. It just says, "Babies are easy to kill, guys."
Well, just have me pointing, standing next to Voldemort, being like, "Dude, babies are really not that hard to kill." I don't know why you have so much trouble.
You and Voldemort
Like an
standing
infomercial.
over a crib.
Dude, I can show you
trouble killing
1,000
this
ways
small
to kill this
child.
kid.
Look,
So
he's an orphan that we adopt and abandon.
Well, I'm saying it's easy. I'm not saying you should.
Okay.
I got to pull back on that lest the lawsuits come in. That being said, we have a new Harry Potter show. Extremely expensive, coming from Amazon. How expensive? Nobody knows. Rumors have come out that this is costing like $1 billion. That's probably not true. Likely
Would be funny.
would be funny. Likely it's probably something closer to like a $20 million an episode, which is still a big gamble for WB, which is being sold off because they ain't doing well financially.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is a financial
And
risk for old WB.
Especially with them doing something as controversial as this.
I
On top
apologize.
of all of that.
Well, yes. I apologize. I missed a comment. Cap Crew said excessive social media use decreases memory recall. I agree. It decreases the wave linked with memory. Spindles, low spindle levels are highly linked to dementia development later on in life. And in fact, a lot of people have found that they're using not just social media, but the internet to replace long-term memory. Where you're not actually recalling deliberate information, that you use Google to search it and then get your answer, so you're not actually committing it to memory, which could be a long-term issue when it comes to internet use and social media and blah, blah, blah. Elon Musk thinks he could fix all of this just by having our brains plugged into a chip and completely replacing our long-term memory with the internet.
Cool.
Look forward to that
Hey, there
future,
we go.
everybody. Cyberpunk all
Not
the way.
dystopian at all.
Anyway, moving back to Harry Potter. I also want to preface this before I turn it over to you guys with a little bit of explanation. I know some of you, depending on your political persuasion or ideological bent, will either go, "This is dumb. Why are they race changing a character?" Or, "Why do you care so much about race? This shouldn't be that big a deal." And Isn't it important for people to see themselves in these characters, yada, yada, yada. So I will address this issue politically. We're not a political podcast, so I'm not trying to give qualitative answers to this thing. There has been an emergence of an ideology in Western cultures in the last 20 years or so. Well, it's older, attached to socialist and communist movements. And it's the idea of group identity. And group identity becomes more important and more prevalent to the individual. And you might go, what are you talking about? Well, you see this emerge in collectivist ideologies. It's not about you, it's about your group. And that's why in new film, pop culture media, when they deliberately change race, the decision isn't because, well, he's the best person for the job, yada, yada, yada. The answers usually are, it's important for, let's say, black people to see themselves reflected in this black character because it's all about a group and the group's identity and how the group sees themselves. That's what's most important when it comes to this, which is why this gets infected into everything, because that's how people see it. It's not about individuals. So when it's like, well, that horrible white person, it's because you're seeing them as a group and you're labeling guilt attached to this person because of group, not because they did anything or committed any crime or did anything wrong. You're just collectively imposing everything onto that person solely based upon the group that they're attached to. And then this expands to things like intersectionality, where groups have a lot of intersections between gender and race and economic background and social status and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the reason why I'm bringing this up, not because I want to be political, but because politics has infected everything. Every damn thing that we consume and engage with, it is everywhere. And though I don't prescribe to this ideology, I have to engage with it because it's everywhere. Everywhere. It's in the video games, it's in the movies, it's in the television shows, it's the media I consume, it's the water I drink. It is everywhere. And the expectation that we're just going to change everything and you're all just going to have to view the world through this lens is simply being crammed down our throats. I'm going to tell you right now, Pape Saidu, I have zero beef with him. I don't know him personally, and no one should be sending death threats or attacking him on social media or saying mean things to him because he's getting a really good role and getting a really good payday. And he's come out and said, I'm getting death threats. That's wrong. You shouldn't attack people for things that they do, for simply being cast in a role. Okay? Now that we've established that, this is really stupid. Now, I know you're going to respond by saying, but why do you care so much about race? It shouldn't matter. It's not that big. It shouldn't matter if they change race. Why are you occupied about race? Guess what? If it doesn't matter, you wouldn't change it. And this is the worst argument I ever hear from people who are prescribers to this. If it doesn't matter, you wouldn't change the race in the first place. What this is you care. You care so much that it's more important to create representation in a show than to represent the show accurately, honestly, the way it was written, the way people saw it originally. It's more important that the ideology of identity politics takes center stage because your political messaging takes paramount over anything that happens as opposed to art being created in an honest way. Now, is every race change in any sort of content a horrible situation? No, it sort of depends on how important it is to the character and how important the character really is. Sometimes it's fine and sometimes it's not fine. When's it not fine? Well, a historical figure, when you know what they looked like, maybe that's when it's a poor decision. And how about Severus Snape? When he's deliberately been described in specific ways as pale, as kind of, sickly and gaunt looking. And then it's like, well, this shouldn't have any bearing to anything. Okay, well, let's just ask our question then. Because now that his race has changed, this casts vastly different colors on everything that happens in the show. You go, that's not true. Yep. Okay, well then explain to me why when Harry Potter mysteriously distrusts for no good reason the black guy at Hogwarts. Why don't you answer me the weird question of for some reason Neville is deathly afraid of the black guy at Hogwarts? Why don't you tell me why that's going to be really weird? How come in the first book, when everybody suspects that guy, when evil is happening, and it's the guy in the turban with the face on the back of his head, but for some reason everybody suspects nice Snape because they don't think it's the guy that's doing it. They suspect it's the black guy that's doing all of the stuff around it. Do you see how suddenly race casts a weird color to all of this? Not to mention that Harry's dad bullied Snape so badly they hung him from a tree. You're not going to tell me that's not going to add a weird color to the fact that this guy's race is now adding all of these odd dynamics that don't exist in the book, that now you're going to be like, oh, well, this looks really bad, you guys. This looks really bad. And these are just examples of the type of effect that this is going to have on the story, simply by changing his race alone. It's not because he's black. It's because it dramatically changes the color of the story. It's because he doesn't look like how he's described in the book. And even then, I'm open to the idea that the movie could be, or the show could be good, regardless of him being, because it's not his fault. Here's the problem. Right. You desperately need a show this expensive to be successful. And the only thing anyone's going to discuss is Snape is black. This is the only thing that's going to be brought up. This is going to color everything in the show. No one's going to give a shit about who Harry Potter is and what's happening with his character. The only thing the internet's talking about right now, the only thing that's going to color this show up and down is, guess what? Snape is black. That's it. Yep. You've turned your show into not only a massive cultural conversation of people throwing shit back and forth on either side. This has become a culture war issue now. Your show is at the center of it, and you've already created so much drama that you're almost guaranteeing your show's not going to be successful, when it could theoretically be good. But you're already shooting yourself in the damn face on purpose by doing these sorts of things. There could be other characters you could kind of change that probably wouldn't be as impactful as Snape changing his race. That probably wouldn't have been as bad, because considering context and everything. This is a bad decision for your show's success, because no one's talking about, hey, Harry Potter looks great, or Hermione looks great, or these. The only thing anyone has anything to talk about is, guess what? Snape is black. That's the only conversation we're going to have about the show at all. And it's your fault. You did this. Why are you ruining your chances of success way before the show even hits? I mean, this is guaranteed to have problems out the gate. And this is your fault. This is the only thing. No one's talking about, oh, the show looks good or whatever. You know what they're talking about? Snape is black. That's it. Oh, and the show looks really dark for some confusing reason. Congratulations. Freaking HBO.
We got the gritty Harry Potter we always wanted.
Warner, you've screwed up. Now that I've said my piece, as somebody who hasn't watched Harry Potter or whatever, as Harry Potter fans, probably dramatically more than I am, how do you guys feel about the new trailer for Harry Potter?
Yeah, I thing is that I have read 4 of the books. The thing is that the first 3 were okay and they were entertaining because they were kind of for kids and stuff. And then you start getting into book 4, which suddenly becomes a tome. And that's when I'm like, these are no longer really for kids now. Because you're really, really stretching it here, adding the length and things, and yeah. And I actually haven't seen any of the movies. I never really wanted to see any of them. Um, so
So you're a
I
massive
can't even
fan.
say. Yeah, the only thing I can say about this is that when they decided to cast this guy as Snape, I don't even know who he is. He could be a very fine actor. I don't know. I've never seen anything else that he's done. Um, but it was from the get go. It's like, ooh, that's a mistake. Um, and that's the only thing that I can think about for at all in regard to this new Harry Potter show. I know that they've cast what's his name, played in Third Rock from the Sun,
John
David
Lithgow.
Lithgow, John Lithgow. Um, and he's been getting some backlash recently because people have been like, "How dare you sign on to this when we know that J.K. Rowling is such a transphobe and he'd actually admitted that he'd thought of quitting the role because of all the stuff that had been going on with this. Um, but yeah, you hate to see things crash and burn because when they crash and burn, um, it takes the industry a while to recover from that, and then there might have been an adaptation of something that you really really wanted to, and if this had been successful that might have gotten a green light, but now they're like, no, we're not going to touch any of these things with a 10-foot pole because their money sinks, and the fans don't like them and blah blah blah, when they end up getting all the wrong messages from what they've released. We've talked about this before where it's like, they have all these opportunities to learn lessons, but they always seem to learn the wrong lesson from their failures rather than um, making some course
Well, I
correction.
thought we
But
learned
I
these
just don't see
lessons
this being, yeah.
with all these failures. I
I
thought
just,
we learned this lesson. We're just doing it again. How many failures does
yeah.
Hollywood need before they go, oh, these are poor decisions? Apparently, all the time, every day, hundreds of millions of dollars. But
Yeah. I just don't see this being successful. Maybe it will be, but I just don't see it. I think I
have you
think
seen the
major
trailer?
fans, I've seen bits of it. I haven't seen the whole thing through. It seemed pretty standard from the first Harry Potter book. It
They
seemed, some of
really
it
leaned
seemed,
on the "we're really bullying Harry" in this show.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and I just see it falling flat, and setting back entertainment, really.
Ross, you've actually read all of the Harry Potter books and are kind of a fan. How do you feel?
Well, it's funny this casting. As far as the casting that we have so far, and that they, obviously don't know how things will go throughout the series, throughout the seasons, but
Uh,
the biggest drama should have been that an American is Dumbledore.
yeah.
That should
Yeah.
have been the biggest drama. Um, and by the way, an American who played Winston Churchill. So, I mean, if you're going to pick an American, he's probably the best one.
He
But
was also a serial killer in Dexter.
true, and the father of a serial killer.
He was also
He's
the
the bad guy
bad
in Cliffhanger.
the bad guy in Cliffhanger. Jason stole my obscure point.
Sorry.
Good job, Jason.
But instead, we have, and I'm not the first one to say this, obviously, but Papa Asidu is a bad choice for a multitude of reasons. Not only is he the wrong race, at least as far as anything ever written in the Harry Potter books. I mean, and people, dude, I've literally seen people try to go like, well, black people can be pale, and it's like, not really, no.
Not pale.
Only if they have no blood.
They can be pallid.
Yeah,
They can be albino.
yeah, like.
Well, then they're not really black, but I mean, they can have the blood drain from their face. They can get pallid, but they can't really be pale. They're not pale people.
Yeah, and like greasy, long, stringy hair.
And
not typical of those of African descent.
Instead, we get dreadlocks, I guess.
And a hooked nose, again, not typically something people of African descent can typically get genetically, but like all these things are wrong. On top of that, and you could this next argument or point, you could maybe say about Alan Rickman, but Papa Sidu, on top of that, on top of the blatant obvious things, he's too good looking. He looks like he could be in GQ.
Yeah, he's actually a pretty decent looking dude.
He's a very handsome man.
No homo.
So not only did you pick a black guy, but you picked a really good looking black guy, which is not correct.
Snape is supposed to be hideous.
Yeah.
Frankly, Alan Rickman
is too good looking for
frankly,
Snape.
Alan Rickman
did a good job, but it was a stretch, right?
Yeah, he's almost too good looking. And he was also a little bit too old.
Yeah, a little too old.
But I don't know, man. Like, you already cast an American. You had Adam Driver right there. Why not pick him? Why not
like,
that?
oh, it's like Snape's son. Adam Driver.
It's just so baffling.
Adam Driver, I could see him being Snape and being pretty good at it. Actually.
Yeah, not to mention the British Isles are replete with actors. Yeah. There's a lot of actors for how small of a place that is. Find a guy, like
that looks correct.
At least mostly. Jesus God, like how hard could this be?
I'm going to be honest. I also would have been like, Brad Pitt's not a good role for being Severus Snape.
Oh my God, can you imagine? I mean, number one, he's 60, so it's like this man is way too old. Like, at most, Snape should be like my age. He should be in like his mid-30s. Like, that's about how old he should be. Like, any like you could maybe fudge it a little more, if they're a youthful looking person. Yeah. But anything more than that, you're playing with fire. Because then you have to go have serious questions about how old this man was in what is essentially wizarding high school. Was he held back for like 5 years? What happened? It just... So anyway, this what should have been the drama is John Lithgow, and instead we have to talk about somebody's fucking skin color, which is so irritating. It's just baffling. Number one, people of color throughout the books. I mean, are they dominant? No. But it's Britain in the 90s. There wasn't a lot of people of color throughout the United Kingdom. There just wasn't.
According to some sources, I hear they've been there all the time.
Yeah, since Rome, right? And it just... there might have been some West Indians in, like, London, some East Indians in a couple of the big cities. But, like, there just wasn't a lot of, like, some Nigerians, maybe, a couple. But London was predominantly white people, predominantly British, not even a lot of foreign European whites. I mean, it was white people still in the 90s. It was just starting to change. Barely. I mean, not even predominantly, just barely starting to see change. So, what are we doing here? Is this supposed to be a period? Like, everything, this throws the whole stupid show on its ear for no good reason.
No.
I mean, if you just had to cast Papa Sidu, give him Shacklebolt later. If you just have to have him in there. It just is baffling. Well, and I feel bad for him to some degree.
There are a number of people who appear in the book that could easily be race swapped without compromising the story. But when you compromise, when you race swap one of the essential characters who has a very particular description, that you really need to find somebody who matches that description as closely as you reasonably can to make it feel like you're actually in that setting, in that particular world. What you're doing right now is you're pulling everybody out because of this decision that you've made. You're making it so they can no longer suspend their disbelief. And as Rhett rightly pointed out, you're introducing a whole host of problems that really aren't there.
That change things
Yeah.
contextually.
But you're making these for yourself.
Well, and the reality is, like, if I'm just going to be the most cynical, they wanted to race swap somebody that was important and there early on.
Yeah.
That's what they wanted. And granted, do I have proof of this? No. Does it seem a little obvious? Yes. And because you start thinking through it, like, well, who could you have race swapped? I mean, theoretically, you could have race swapped McGonagall. Would it have made much sense? No. But,
it
you
wouldn't have
could
been
have.
as damaging to the story.
Well, it would have brought up really uncomfortable questions.
Yes.
Because,
how come Neville
like,
is so
hey,
racist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, it would have maybe been better because McGonagall is a really genuinely a pretty good person and wants to see these kids do well and protect them. Maybe that's a little bit too magical Negro-y for some people at HBO, but everybody's magical.
I did think Dumbledore, but then I thought maybe not because of that exact thing.
I mean, Sirius Black would have been on the nose, but
yes, because then my next thought was well, why not Vernon Dursley? And it's well, then you have a black man abusing a small white child horribly for no good reason, and it's well, that's not a good look either. But you have the same problem with Snape. He's abusive to these kids for no reason other than I wanted to bang your mother. Cool.
And she was not receptive.
Yeah, she wouldn't give in to me.
She ran off with your bully.
The guy who, hung me upside down from a tree that won't look awkward in the next, few years when we finally have to film that fucking season. I mean, unless they make Peter Pettigrew black, which also, if we're going off of the... Twitter will have a field day with that one. But on both sides of that political aisle, because, the Weasley little rat man is the black guy? Great.
You
But
do
then,
Malfoy, and then it's why is the bully black now? And it's you can't. It causes so many problems.
And calling
It's so
himself
bad.
pure blood.
Oh my god, I know.
Yeah.
It's just so bad.
Because
So then
there's
it's
racial undertones with the conversations of mixed blood in the wizard
Yes.
world in this story. It causes so many problems.
It's
I need to look
almost
up the
like...
Harry Potter character. Oh no, Argus Filch. I can't do that.
No, can't have the weirdo. No, the barely magical
Gilderoy
weirdo.
Lockhart.
Oh, the fake, the liar. Yeah, you can't have
No,
that
I
guy.
can't do that either.
No. That
Let's
has
look at a
awkward
black
questions.
character, Dean Thomas. Hey, how you doing?
Not big enough. No, he's not. No,
He's not
no.
central or popular enough. Yeah.
Hold on,
Yeah,
Professor
yeah.
Slughorn.
I can't
Nope,
remember that
okay.
I
one.
mean,
It
you might be able to get away with Hagrid.
Hagrid
No,
might be
okay.
fine.
no,
It's
you want to know
the
the problem?
guy
He's
who
half
lives out in a
giant.
shed.
You can't do that one
That's
either.
true.
Well,
Just here's
get
the problem.
Shaquille O'Neal. He's huge.
Hey,
But
what's up,
also,
y'all? My name's
The thing
Hagrid.
about his
I'm a
backstory
wizard,
is
y'all.
that he's not trusted to use magic anymore, so it was taken away from him.
Yeah, and then he has dangerous animals. What is it gonna? Is Fluffy gonna be 3 pit bulls? Be the Cerberus pit bull?
Is he having dogfights?
Yeah, what? So and here's the problem. Because of the Harry Potter has these certain aspects in the story that are meant to remind the reader of real life issues.
Yeah.
Things like wizarding blood and blood purity within the wizarding world. Well, what's that supposed to remind you of? Well, obviously. But the problem is that now you've brought your weird modern foibles into a story and that isn't that old, first of all. And so now you have people getting mad at so they're bullying the Half-Blood Prince, the black guy. Great. Good job. You did it. It's almost
Oh,
like
God.
you just
You
went
just
so
met.
on the nose.
He's the half-blood prince.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So they're bullying him because of his blood purity. Awesome. Cool. That's
You can
really
make him
good.
Harry Potter, so he's just bullied constantly by all the white kids.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, honestly, people would have come apart. And again, because the descriptions are very, he's white. But, like, at least then, oh my God, the hero's black, and, it's just, like, who are you trying to please? Because you're not going to please everybody. You're going to piss off a sizable chunk of people. And I think you picked the wrong one.
Well,
all they needed to do was cast an actor who looked like Snape, and then everybody would have been happy.
well, because you know who doesn't get pissed off? People who get when they cast them correctly. People don't.
Well, especially when they were selling this as a more accurate to the books than the movies, because they'll have more time.
You know what I hate? The fact that we have to discuss this.
Oh, it's so stupid.
I hate that we have to have this big discussion about the race of this character because they have to do this sort of thing. It's funny. The internet either gets really extreme when they talk about, oh, it's bullshit, or they get really aggressive defending it. Very few people really want to have an adult conversation about this because people have very strong ideological positions on whether or not they think it's okay or not. I'm telling you, in a context where it's not going to really be that bad to the story, or he's not as aggressively described as specifically, and fans aren't going to get like there are characters you could change that probably wouldn't be that big a deal. This character is going to cause a huge of contextual problems in the story that you're now going to have to face of like, well, why did you make the black guy the one that they hung from a tree? Yeah, why did you do that, WB? That's a weird choice. Are you racist, WB? Why are you doing this? I don't understand. Well, because race is important and we need to see ourselves. So the only way you can watch a show, which is weird, is by seeing people of a similar race in the show. My mother watches a lot of Korean shows and she doesn't look Korean. And she seems to find a way to exhibit empathy and interest in characters that don't have similar backgrounds or races as she does. I can connect with black characters all the time. I love Friday. It's a great movie. Ross knows, I bring it up.
Oh, yeah.
But why do we have to be so ideologically bent that we have to separate each other so much that they're essentially stating you lack the capacity to relate to characters that don't look like you? That's weird. That's really... Aren't we all supposed to be humans? Aren't we all supposed to be able to relate and connect with one another? But for some reason, we can't even have an adult conversation about this, where we discuss if this is a good idea, what it changes, what effect it's going to have on the characters and the story, and how poor a decision it is, not just for the character development and honoring the original story and how it fits into everything, but on top of that, how this is going to be the pallor that casts itself across all of the show over everything, because this is the only thing anyone's going to talk about. Why do you insist on continuing to make these mistakes? Why is this your intent forever, that you have to just keep ruining things with poor decisions like this? This is so stupid. Believe it or not, if I was watching a show like, I don't know, Black Panther, and Black Panther was a white guy, I'd be like, well, this is bullshit. He's a white guy.
Yeah.
Because he's a black guy, and everything about that character is supposed to be a black guy because he's from a fictional country in Africa that has... there are reasons why these characters are supposed to be reflecting the places they're from and the reasons why there's cultural considerations. And oh my God. Sorry, I bogarted the more detailed conversation about the Harry Potter story, but I am so pissed off that not only is this is a thing and everybody's going to have to talk about it, but that it has to be a topic at all. I really don't want to drag race through. I don't want to drag Papa Saito through all of this drama because he doesn't deserve it. He's just taking a really good role where he's probably being paid really good money.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's taken what's going to be, if HBO can keep their shit in a pile, a regular role, at least decently paying, if not well paying. Like in the
Yeah.
acting world of today, he'd be stupid not to take it. So I mean, I don't blame the guy. I don't blame him at all.
If somebody offered me $1 million to play Black Panther, I would take it. It would be a poor decision on their part, but it would be a good decision for me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's this immediately, I think everybody then goes, because this was going to be a battle they were going to have to fight anyway. Of
yes,
why are we doing this? Why are we doing this again? But with that change in particular, it's like, ugh, why are we doing this again? Like why?
I thought we were past
have the
this.
movies. Yeah, we have the movies, so I'm not going to watch this because there's no point. This should have been a layup. This should have been a layup for Warner, and they decided to make it so hard.
Oh my gosh! Why?
Well, can't help themselves.
Silver, as a diehard Harry Potter fan, at least more than I am, or Jason. What do you feel? How do you feel?
My mind is currently breaking over the implication fact of some scenes because I keep thinking of more.
How weird it's going to be now because there's going to be this weird racial context to it.
The one I keep thinking of is during the Quidditch match when Hermione sets him on fire.
Oh my god.
Those are like, something's going on with Harry's broomstick. Who's doing it? It must be the black guy.
Well, imagine just the three of them sitting there going, I don't trust the black guy for some reason.
Yeah,
it's so dumb.
Because they didn't question it at all during that scene. They didn't like look around and go, "Oh, could be this person, could be this person." They zeroed in on
it's
Snape.
That guy.
It's like the one black teacher in like the teacher stands. It's like it's him.
What? Why is Neville suspiciously afraid of the black guy at school?
Oh, doesn't Oh yeah, that was one scene where they have like it's like a trunk that your worst fear pops out. So he's just gonna be looking at the trunk, and here comes Black Severus Snape.
The Bogart.
Yeah, the Bogart.
I was like, oh no, Neville, you're afraid of black guys.
And then his solution is to make him look like his grandma.
I mean, there's so many problems. Why, Harry
Somebody
Potter?
wants to steal the valuable stone. Well, it's got to be the black guy.
Well, it's funny. I guarantee you're going to see articles across the internet. There's been a mixed response. No.
We're purely against it. This is awful.
And it's funny, like, there is some outrage, don't get me wrong, but it's mostly just laughing and going like, what the hell are they doing? It's mostly that, just like making jokes about it because it's like so dumb.
It's been ratioed. It's been more downvoted than upvoted.
Yeah, of course.
Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah. They did something really dumb.
I mean, who wouldn't answer? Wouldn't say this or? It's just you're setting yourself up for failure. I don't understand.
Oh gosh.
It's going to be a layup. The hardest part would have been the production schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are certain things, The Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Star Wars, Star Trek even. There's certain things that you would think that they're just there to print money. And that they couldn't do something wrong. But then we get things like Starfleet Academy and The Witcher Season 2 and beyond, and
don't underestimate
and it's like,
Hollywood's
oh my
ability
gosh.
to screw things up.
And now all of those are dead. They're getting stuffed into the ditch of history. They've been shot in the back of the head. Star Wars, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings. I mean, let's not forget the glory of Rings of Power.
Glory.
Don't remind me, I'm having flashbacks to our viewing schedule.
Well, guess what? Another massive conversation, everybody. In a weird turn of events, the failed talk show host Stephen Colbert, Stephen
Oh.
Colbert, if you will,
Oh.
showed up in a video talking to Peter Jackson. And lo and behold, Stephen Colbert is writing the new Lord of the Rings movie.
No!
Please no.
Now, I know people have come out in his defense, and they're like, but you do realize he's a massive Lord of the Rings fan. My response is, so am I! That doesn't mean I can write a movie! What on earth makes you think that simply being a huge fan of Lord of the Rings means that you can write a movie? And
But
what
it's been a
earth?
thing on the internet that he's a huge fan. He's like an expert, right?
Okay,
He was so big a fan, they put him in The Hobbit.
doesn't
Oh,
mean you
wait.
should write a movie.
Oh.
Like, what? He's a comedy guy. And what earth do people think that he has the capacity to write the new Lord of the Rings movie? And then they go, well, guess what, though?
Apparently
His
the internet-
son is a screenwriter, and his son is also writing it with him. And my response is, have you looked up his son on IMDb? He has 0 credits as a screenwriter. At what point is he actually a screenwriter? Yeah, but Philippa Boyan is also participating in writing this with them. Then my
Oh, no,
response is
please,
going to
no.
be, guess what? Though Philippa Boyan, an Oscar-winning scriptwriter, participant in the original Lord of the Rings, also wrote War of the Rohirrim, a massive piece of shit. So
Yeah.
none of this gives me confidence in any way. It's like they thought this was going to be a weird layup of like, guess what? Stephen Colbert is a part of it. His show is so bad and unfunny, it's getting canceled.
Yeah.
No one's in love with him except for Hollywood.
This feels like a desperation move from both
Yeah.
parties, you know?
Obviously they're trying to appease us by saying or by implying that because Stephen Colbert is a fan, he's not going to screw us over. You know, he's going to stick true to Tolkien's original vision, blah 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 blah. And so we have nothing to worry about. This is going to be fine. You all will love it. It's like, well,
There's no guarantee of any of that.
yeah. He's from Hollywood, so that's strike one against him. He's a comedian, and these aren't comedies. Strike two. He doesn't write scripts, as far as I know. Strike three.
Well, he's written comedy scripts. Doesn't mean he can write Lord of the Rings.
Right. So at least he has some experience writing a script. Not the right genre, but he has some experience. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he's written some
shows.
I think a movie or something.
Did any of them do any good?
No, look, it's relevant. Like, it doesn't mean anything.
Strike five.
You know what? There are some really good writers out there. Most of them
That's true.
can't make a good Lord of the Rings movie. Let alone
That's true,
Stephen
too.
Colbert, of all people. And I'm going to even set aside whether or not you like the guy or not. He's a bad choice to write a Lord of the Rings movie. And I'm sick and tired of people going, well, he's a huge fan. He knows so much about Lord of the Rings. So do I. I shouldn't write the next movie just because he's a huge fan of Lord of the Rings. Yeah, but he's such a huge fan, like Jason was saying, he'll do it justice. Here, let me point out, not only is he a hyper-political individual, now, whether you agree with him or not, that's perfectly fine. But he's a hyper-political individual who leans left-wing. Well, that shouldn't have a factor, except for the fact he's adapting a work from a very, very traditionally minded man who was Catholic.
Yeah.
Do you really think he understands the mind of Tolkien? I'm pretty sure Tolkien wouldn't agree with him at all and probably wouldn't even like the guy because Tolkien didn't like a lot
Probably
of things.
not.
So what makes you think that somehow Stephen Colbert is still qualified to write this movie? I don't understand. And then you're like, well, what movie is it going to be? Well, apparently he sat down with his son and they were talking about it. And they're like, you know that section in Lord of the Rings that they didn't really do? with the hobbits and the Barrow Downs and all the stuff that happened
What?
over there. Well, there's probably a story in there that hasn't been told. So what? You're going to write a movie that comes in the middle of Fellowship? Are we going to get old hobbits back for this movie? Are we suddenly going to have to CGI a fat Sam, who's even fatter now, to somehow return for this film? What are you talking about? A film inserted in the middle of Fellowship? Really? What do you mean there's a movie here? They're too old for this.
So apparently we're getting the Old Forest
Yes.
and the Fog on the Barrow Downs as a movie.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe Tom Bombadil.
Hollywood,
I don't know.
you can't be this stupid.
Yeah.
Please.
No, they're very stupid. And Hollywood thinks this is a layup.
Damn right they do.
Because everybody loves Stephen Colbert
This is horrible.
in Hollywood. In Hollywood. He's not popular. His show's being canceled. He's not funny. Well, I guess if he's not funny, he's probably at least not going to put comedy into it because it's not going to be funny.
Oh
He'll try and make the movie funny, and it'll be about as funny as his show was, which is not at all.
Oh.
Yeah, seriously.
How many times do I need to rage this podcast out of the stupidity? I thought Hollywood had learned their lesson. How many failures are required before they figure this out? How many times did War of the Rohirrim didn't damage the brand of Lord of the Rings enough? War of the Rohirrim. This lessens Lord of the Rings. This lessens it.
Yes, it does.
This lessens the value of the
So either
brand
they're
and
going to
people's.
recast all the hobbits.
But it wouldn't work because this is supposed to participate in the same universe, Jason.
I know. I'm not. There's so many red flags here.
Sean
So
Astin's
many red
really
flags.
fat.
Yeah.
He's fat.
It's just he is.
Well, get him on a diet, man.
We're going to have to uncanny valley the crap out of this where they're all de-aged to hell.
Oh yeah.
And
Or it's
honestly,
going to be a cartoon.
I don't.
Even worse. Oh, it's going to be a cartoon. Oh, my gosh.
Oh,
They're
did
gonna
they
do the
declare it was going to
Firefly
be?
treatment.
Did they declare it was going to be a cartoon?
Firefly thing?
Well, no, the Firefly thing. Yeah, I was talking about the movie. I think this is supposed to be live action.
The thing is if they don't de-age it, just CGI the crap out of this thing.
Yeah.
The only other way they can get around the fact that their principal actors they're either going to have to recast everybody, or their principal actors are way too old for the parts now, and they're going to turn it into a cartoon. That's the only way they could get around it. Just draw at everybody and have everybody be do the voiceover work instead.
No one's going to see the movie. They barely saw War of the Rohirrim, and it was bad.
No.
Yeah, it was.
This is a good decision. What are you talking about? Hollywood's great. Nothing's failing. We're not losing money constantly. We're not offending our fans perpetually. This is great.
Everything's good.
It's almost too stupid to really, like the Severus Snape stuff. There's like a more in-depth conversation. This is like, what the hell are you guys doing?
What's the plan here? What were you?
What's the decision making behind this?
What were you thinking, sort of long term?
What are you doing there, champ? Is this really a
What's
good
going on here,
idea?
slugger?
It's gonna
buckaroo.
suck. Oh, it's just this is more guaranteed to suck than Harry Potter. Because Harry Potter, despite the drama around the character, could be good. This is not going to be good.
No.
It's just what next? They're going to announce is directed by James Gunn.
Hell yeah. See, now it's saved, brother.
The right decision. He's gonna put like weird, quirky pop music into Lord of the Rings.
Oh god.
What you don't understand is that Frodo is really a punk rocker. He's punk rock.
I'm
to
a
be
punk
Frodo.
rocker, yes I am.
He was punk rock all the way, man. And when they were talking about, pipe weed, we all know what they were talking about, really.
Silver.
Ah,
It's gonna be great. How do you feel?
Wake up.
I'm not here. I feel great about everything happening, especially Harry Potter.
Everything's great.
Oh
I
good.
can't wait. Oh, it's gonna be hilarious.
So bad.
I've gone
Oh,
insane.
you see the memes?
Oh, the Harry Potter memes?
With
Yes.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
They're great. What do you mean? Oh, they're so good.
I'm just looking forward to Colbert writing a scene in the new Lord of the Rings where all of the hobbits dance dressed up as vaccines to try and encourage people to get vaccines.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, yeesh.
Because that was a good decision.
Oh.
Okay, well, we got a lot more news. We've gone over the big things. Hey, Ross, remember there's a weird problem going on with Hearts of Iron in Canada?
Oh, yeah.
Apparently,
you telling me about
Canada's
this.
federal government is worried about extremism recruited through video games, especially mods for a game called Hearts of Iron, which recreates World War II. Hearts of Iron 4. I got the number wrong, Ross.
Oh?
Yeah. It was 317,000.
Oh, okay. Because you told me like 200 million, and I was like, no, that can't. That's crazy. I mean, $317,000 just for somebody to play.
To
Hearts of Iron
understand
4
if there's
mod.
racism and people becoming extremist activated in Hearts of Iron 4.
It's still bad. Listen, still ridiculous. I want to make that very clear. Still really bad. However,
Canada can throw this money around.
oh yeah, they're definitely not worse economically than Alabama now. That's not a thing they have to worry about, right?
Apparently, extremists may make video games to normalize or introduce political rhetoric for their cause. Thus, it's important to investigate extremism in Hearts of Iron 4. I'm going to be honest. You can't really talk about World War II or play a game set in World War II without some Yahtzee players being involved. You really can't avoid the situation. I don't know what to tell you. I also find communism abhorrent. You can't really do Hearts of Iron or a World War II set game without kind of communism being brought up into the conversation. Simply avoiding the issue doesn't make it go away. Nobody's praising the Yahtzee party. Yeah, but mods. I was like, yeah, and mods also make weird mods to favor other stuff. You can't coddle people into not believing things you don't want them to believe in. Believe it or not, there's this weird thing where you try and get kids not to do something, and they're like, "Oh, do it harder."
Yeah. It's like you can't make a game or something about the United States Civil War and leave out, the South and slavery and.
But it'd be really
and all that
convenient
other
if I
stuff.
could, because it scares me.
Why don't we get more positive? There's been a stabbing at the Pokemon shop in Tokyo.
Oh gosh.
Oh.
I'm positive that there's been this.
A female employee at the Pokemon merchandise shop was stabbed to death at Tokyo's commercial complex on Thursday.
Jesus.
Oh my
Oh my
god.
gosh.
The suspect assailant also died after stabbing himself, shocking shoppers during the children's spring break season in Japan.
Oh.
Oh,
They
oh my
think it had
gosh.
something to do. Let's see. Maybe has something to do with Pokemon cards.
Got
I
the
want to be
Charizard.
the
He could-
very best.
He could have been creeping on her. It's hard to say. Japan has that problem.
Yes.
There was a stabbing in America where 2 people died over Pokemon cards, but it was at a GameStop.
Oh my god. You know, can I just say something? Is that the
Yeah.
most embarrassing place to die?
At a GameStop?
Especially over Pokemon cards. You weren't even there for video games. You're just there to fight over fucking Pokemon cards. Jesus God.
Hooters is a funny place to die at.
It's where as God intended,
yeah.
frankly.
While they're clapping for your birthday thing, you just choke and
Yeah.
die.
Clapping,
That's so flattering.
hopefully jumping up and down in excitement for me because I 1 year close, and then I just bam, heart attack, dead. Last thing I see, very happy.
All right.